Okay, excellent. Welcome. So excited to be here. Yay, welcome back. So we're going to be continuing our adventure in going through the various techniques that are outlined in the psycholinguistics book here. Super awesome. So I actually think the email that I sent out, I said that we were going to be talking about compelling future, but I believe that we actually skipped the resource organizer technique. So we shall do that. I see that Miss Maria is in the kitchen doing some awesomeness. So I will go ahead and read, unless you have questions. Did you have anything that's come up in the last couple of weeks or any questions that you have, Miss Maria, that I can answer now?
Questions. No, other than just a statement that I need to just do it, damn it, because I know this works.
What does that mean? What does that mean? Just do it. Just do what?
Listen to my hypnosis.
Oh, I see.
Yeah,
I see.
the I've been using the techniques, some other techniques, with putting something in a picture frame, that one, and something I don't like that I have in front of me, I put it behind me and I take the color out. I've been doing that. I've been doing that more on the conscious level than the subconscious level. So thank you for asking for more information. That's what I mean by I need to just do it. So my subconscious mind, will have this information too, which is the motherboard that really drives the consciousness. And I see the things I need to work on. And I've been working on that on a conscious level as far as not putting other people in front of me, making time for me. And I've been doing really good with that. But I think I need to do it a little bit more. This is something new and I see the resistance and I don't like it. And I have to remind myself that I have the keys to reprogram my way of thinking, my vibration, and also the things in my life. And here comes the tricky part, and then I'll be quiet. Sometimes my logic brain, and maybe other people too, think that they have no control and influence on the world around them, and we do. That's how powerful we are, to a point, of course. And my point is very limited, and I have to remind myself and reframe my mind and says, no, I do have the power to influence the world around me and other people in a positive way, not in a negative way. And that's where I want to go into my subconscious mind and reprogram my mind. So my dream that I'm living in will be more pleasurable and more desirable for me. So I don't keep playing this broken record that I think I have no control over. There you go.
Yeah, thanks for sharing that. One of the little pieces and why I think that it's helpful for all of us to go through this, because with ourselves and with anyone that we intend on working with or will work with in the future, it's going to be really important to question authority. And it's really the authority of our own mind, because our brain is designed for protection. It's not just doing things willy-nilly. It's not just, how can we, make sure that Rose suffers today? That's not the intention of any part of the mind, regardless of how much suffering the experience might give us. That's not the intention. The intention is always positive, and it's always about survival, and it's always about protection, and it's always about being safe and keeping, the parts of us alive. So you said, I see the resistance. Would you be willing to share a little bit more about what you mean by that? How does that present itself to you?
By the habits that I'm aware of, Dr. Porter said it takes 15 days at least to start a new habit. And my habit, I did it. I did this to myself. These habits that I formed on a daily basis, because I realized that it's not what my intentions are, it's what I do every day. So it's my fault. I'm owning it because I'm aware of these tools. And I didn't have the intentions to make these new habits a part of my life and consume me. So that's the resistance. So I see the resistance, and I'm willing to change these habits on a daily basis. That includes Maria, not put her last, putting other people in front of me. I'm not going to isolate myself. I want to balance, because I do live in a culture and I believe in family, but I do not want my resistance is putting them first, and that's unhealthy for me. And I want to balance. I am going to be balancing that and start these habits, so I don't have that resistance of putting myself last. And I know where this comes from. It comes from my culture and maybe even a religious background, saying that women have to be sacrificing all the freaking time. And that programming doesn't work for me anymore. And I'm loving myself by having a balanced lifestyle. And maybe because I'm afraid of change, like I'm doing something that's going to upset God and other people in my life. And I see that that's not a loving idea. And I say to myself out loud to think positive and speak life over my life. So when someone says something that they're afraid of, I say, they don't have to think the way I want to, but I said, well, this is my interpretation, that everything is going to be okay. Everything is going to be okay. Hold on for a second.
Miss Jody.
Sorry. Okay, so yeah, so I like to reframe those negative darts that come my way that says doomsday, that they're afraid, that what if scenario, what if thinking. And I said, that's your interpretation, but this is the way I interpret and everything's going to work out. I don't know how, I don't have the details. And I'd like you to think positive, because that energy is not helping this situation. So I ask people to think more positive. I can't force them to. And then I speak my life over certain situations. And then I step forward in it with faith, believing that everything's going to work out, and not to base my decisions solely on fear, nor solely on ignorance either. It's a balance. And that's where I'm at. And I fight thinking positive. And I get in that what if scenario, and I just stop myself from that. And that brings me so much peace, and it brings me like control. Like I do influence the world around me. And I like that space way more than this persistence of worry and fear and what if scenario and doomsday. No.
Would you mind if I just recapped that for a second to see if I'm understanding correctly?
I don't mind at all.
Hey, Miss Jody. Yeah, I got your message that you're unable to come on camera today. So that is fine. I don't know if you're able to speak, but no camera. Maybe that's some good information as well.
I sure can.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I was just asking Maria how she was doing, and she was, she had any questions, and she was sharing some things. And one of the things that she shared was, she said, I'm seeing the resistance, and, I'm doing these things, and this is what I want. And I'm, thinking about my future and using the techniques and doing it consciously. And there's some room to, to have some space to reinforce the conscious effort on a subconscious level. So with the recordings, with the hypnosis session, with the meditation part of it. So having both is extremely powerful and beneficial. But when she mentioned the resistance, I just asked her to give a little bit more detail, a little bit more information of like how she notices that. Like, how does the resistance present itself to her? And what I heard, Maria, you can correct me if I'm like off on a tangent or putting my own interpretation on it, but what I heard is that there is an internal dialogue going on that kind of seems like a struggle. Like, it's like, what you should think and what you should do and what a good girl does and what a good mom says and what a good grandma is, and like all of these ideas about who we are, who other people are, what our role is, what their role is. Like, we have this perception of the right way, whatever that means. And there is a desire and a need and a drawing and like a compelling movement towards something that maybe is different from that. And so there is this like inner dialogue happening that is that you are trying to navigate with words and with understanding and with thinking about things differently or doing things differently. And that there's some interaction there. And I just want to say that totally, I feel like I understand and I get what it is that you're saying, even though words are kind of hard to grasp onto words to like really explain what's happening. And I've definitely found that, and I know that you know this, but we all need reminders, right? Because it can be so tempting to just be like, oh, this is the issue. Cool. I'm going to put this over here. I'm going to put that over there. I'm going to change that. I'm going to think about this differently. And we really get into the doing part, right? Where I'm going to meditate my way into like this amazing thing. I'm going to eat my way into it. I'm going to, and we get back into this like doing to then feel better. And a lot of what hypnosis and meditation helps us do is come at it from a different angle, right? Come at the same kind of, issue or problem or life experience or whatever it is, just from the other side of the mountain. It's still the same mountain. We're going in the same direction. It's just a different perspective, a different vantage point. And we are able to then access a different part of ourselves when we are willing to pause and go inside first and begin to experiment with the new feeling, the new sensation, right? Like if you were, and this is actually what we're going to be talking about today. This is like perfect segue. We're always talking about the compelling future. And I think that is the one that we're going to do, because that's the one that we talked about and we're going in that direction. So chapter 9, the compelling future. This is one of the techniques that we always want to use with ourselves and do and use in every session is, okay, so like now whatever work that we've done, like how does that then impact your future, right? How does it impact you, your thinking, your actions, your behaviors, your vision, your energy, your feelings, your emotions, what you see, the colors around you, and of course, other people. Right? I mean, to think that we're just going to make changes and I'm doing it for me. I mean, that's beautiful and wonderful on some level, right? And the reality that we live, with other human beings, and we have family and we have friends and we have community, and like other people are affected by what we do and don't do and say and don't say.
Yes. Because
Right?
I'm not going to live in a cave. I have family. I don't want to. I'm a social person, and I believe most human beings are. And it's not healthy to isolate. So for me not to embrace my family, but putting balance is very important for everyone, and especially me.
Yeah.
And in these techniques that we're revisiting, for people who've used these techniques, because I have in the past, has been powerful, because I catch myself thinking negatively, or people putting that in my head, or even just hearing it is tempting for me to go back to my old ways, and I speak life over it instead. But it starts with your thoughts, and sometimes those thoughts are in color, like you said, and I use that picture frame and I freeze it in time. I lower the volume. I take all the colors out and I put it behind me, and then sometimes I put it in the back in the rear view mirror, and I'm driving because I like that in my car, and that works for me. And then I focus on what I really want. And that's when I speak life over negative words, negative thoughts, negative situations. And it influences not only my life, but other people's life.
Yeah. Awesome.
And then I do it, and then everything works out anyways.
I know.
Like, yes, yes, it does work.
That's awesome.
But the
Item.
resistance
Thanks
is
for
still
sharing
there.
that.
And I want to go deeper to my subconscious level. So it would be like a dream, like a program show that I'm going to step into. And I already know what's going to happen in my compelling future because I put it out there already. And I just got to act it out with faith and make these steps. And it's kind of fun instead of in the past where I didn't know I had choices.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. Thank you, Miss Maria. So, Miss Jody, I just want to open up for you as well. If you had questions that have come up over the last couple of weeks or anything that you want to share.
No, I think I'm pretty solid. Thank you,
Cool.
though.
All right, ladies. So I'll allow you to chillax for a moment and I will read through these first couple of pages and then we will do our technique. Cool. All right. So compelling future. The compelling future technique is used in all situations with all techniques and in every hypnotic session. People come to see a hypnotherapist because they want their future to be better than their past. Right. That's actually one of the things that people, they get like really weirded out. They're like, oh, you're like a hypnotherapist. Like, are you going to control me? I'm like, but people come to me because they want to make a change, right? Like they're continuing to do something that they don't want to do anymore, or they keep trying to do something and they just can't get themselves to do it, even though they want to do it. Right. So they're already stuck in their own hypnosis. Really, what our job is to help them get out of the hypnosis that they're already in, begin to realize that they have, just like Maria was saying, they have choice, right? They have an opportunity to begin to use this God-given gift of our imagination to think beyond our present circumstances and begin to go towards a future that is literally compelling for them own selves. So in order to have a better future, they must first clarify what specifically they want to be better. They must know when, the times or instances they want it to be better. And most importantly, they must imagine what that future will be like when it is better and all the changes are in place. With a clear outcome, they can readily create just how it will be achieved. Now, one of the fallacies of some therapeutic models is that if you talk about a problem, analyze it, label it, and try to make sense of it, somehow it'll eventually go away. In my experience, analyzing a problem just gives you a better problem. An understood problem may be more sophisticated, but it is a problem all the same. Now, of course, there are a couple of caveats. There's something really what I found powerful in having a name, like naming whatever that is, but I've also found it really powerful to name like the positive aspects of myself and the things that I want to keep as well, right? So that like we have an understanding. But then what are we going to do with it? So the purpose of this technique is to program the future with the desired changes in place. We're going to use NLP process known as future pacing, which means to mentally rehearse oneself living the desired future with the goal of creating behaviors and responses that feel natural and automatic. That's probably one of the most powerful and helpful aspects of hypnosis, to understand the way that it works is by the repetition of the thinking of it in a relaxed state. So we can make changes by doing differently, right? Just kind of like what Maria was saying. It was like, oh, I know what to do. I know what to do. I know what to do. Well, yeah, it is that it's that's a way to make change. It can be a lot faster and a bit more gentle if the changes that we're beginning to make, we rehearse in our mind in a relaxed state over and over again instead of in real time, right? Because in the mind, it's like you can imagine doing something 15,000 times or how many ever times you think that you need to do it. For example, people that come to me for quit smoking, it's like, okay, well, how many days would you need to be a non-smoker for you to know that you don't ever have to smoke again? Right. And everyone has a different number. It's like, oh, well, it would need to be like at least 30 days. Okay, cool. Well, in real time, you would have to actually live every single one of those 30 days, the 24 hours over and over. But in your mind, you can close your eyes, you can move through that day, and then you can double it and you can triple it. You can even do years if you need and want to. so that the memory of all of that time passing is instilled in the brain. And then all the little changes that will have taken place over time happen. So we will also use post-hypnotic suggestions, which involve setting up a program to be triggered by a future event, thus ensuring success. So this is like the if then statements that are insanely powerful. I mean, doing that in a hypnotic state is magical, but you can also do that wide awake, right? You can set yourself up for, when this thought happens, this is going to be my action. Or when this thought comes up, because I realize it's kind of a repetitive thought. I often, when I, for example, for like the weight loss people, it's like, okay, so if I get on the scale and it hasn't moved, or it hasn't moved as much as I want it to, right? So you're setting yourself up for an action or a thought or a behavior when something happens. So you're setting up a trigger ahead of time. And if what you have done previously is got frustrated, disappointed, upset, and went and ate cheesecake, right? Which I'm totally guilty of, then you're going to want to set up a trigger that is actually more conducive to what you want. Because the reality is, are you going to end up getting on that scale and it doesn't say what you want it to say? Yeah, right. Especially if like your perception and your self-esteem and your motivation are tied to that number, right? So this is a little bit of the process by how we begin to untie these things, is we set ourselves up ahead of time with a trigger. So it's like, okay, so when I get on the scale and it doesn't say what I think I want it to say, I'm going to remind myself that I am on a path and a journey of health and wellness. I'm going to remind myself that every single time I get on the scale, that's data and information. It's one point of data and information. I'm also going to be intentional about remembering my sleep, my hunger, my energy, my cravings, and my intention for my food plan for the day. Do you see how different that is? So we're beginning to set ourselves up for success ahead of time. That is hypnotic suggestions, which you can, again, do consciously or subconsciously. So future pacing is achieved by having the subject access a desirable new future. What if the changes that you wanted simply happened and you were in the future? What would you see, hear, and experience that would convince you that the change is made? So questions are always going to be more powerful in any therapeutic setting. I know you ladies already know this. This is just a reminder for all of us, than statements, right? Because words don't teach, but experience does. And we don't necessarily need to have an experience in the outside. Like, I'll give you an example. This is actually, I don't think it's in this book, but so a lady and her family come to a hypnotherapist and they're like very upset. They've gone and seen all kinds of therapists, psychologists, doctors. They're like, it is impossible to live with this woman. Like we love her. It's my mom. I know that she loves us, but like she follows us around everywhere that we go, vacuuming. Like she never lets us just, right? It's like clean, 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 right? And she's just obsessive about the carpet being clean. Like they can't even walk in the house. And they're like, dude, this is so frustrating. So again, they've seen all kinds of therapists. They try to rationalize with her and explain to her how upsetting it is and how they don't want to like be at her house and they love her so much and they want to be part of her life. And there's all of this like logic that's happening and she's just not having it, right? She's stuck in her ways. She understands logically what they're saying. But again, words don't teach, experience teaches. So the hypnotherapist was listening to all of this and said, okay, I get it. I see, like, tell me all of the feelings and all the stuff and all that's going on. How would you want your future to be? And all of this beautiful stuff. Then he said, okay. So we had her just kind of take a couple of deep breaths and close her eyes and go through a little bit of a visualization experience where she woke up in the morning and her carpet was exactly how she likes it. right? And he really got her into the thinking and the feeling and the experience of having it be the way that she likes it in the morning, in the afternoon, in the evening. That there's no ruffles, there's no dents, there's no shoe prints, there's nothing. And as the day goes by, she begins to realize that everything is perfect just the way that she likes it. And that's because there's nobody there. You just let her sit with that for a moment. Right? And that experience of feeling the sadness of being alone because she had to have everything be perfect, it changed her, right? That was the moment that it actually clicked, right? It went from the head to the heart. It was the experience of the actual feeling, not the threat of it, not the knowledge of it, not the chitty chat of it, the deep inside. So what would you need to see, hear, and experience that would convince you that the changes were made? A post-hypnotic suggestion involves linking the new behaviors and responses to a future event. Here is an excellent example of a post-hypnotic suggestion used for stopping smoking. Quote, every time you see others smoking or smell the smoke of a cigarette, you will instantly know deep down that you are a non-smoker. You will see through the eyes, hear through the ears, and sense and feel with the body of a non-smoker, a clean air breather. This would be a great time if you're actually in person with someone to set up that anchor, right? To touch them in that same place. That's a really great one for the non-smoking. It was like, that's right. You're a non-smoker, a clean air breather with total respect for yourself, your world, and your reality. And so it's anchoring that thought, that vision, that feeling into a physical sensation as well. Very powerful. The smokers who wish to quit tend to have the most trouble around other smokers. This post-hypnotic suggestion directly addresses the future experience of encountering another smoker because it's going to happen, right? So might as well address it. But with the resource of experiencing oneself as a non-smoker. Post-hypnotic amnesia uses suggestions to help a subject selectively delete or forget to access a behavior or the habitual link to a behavior. Post-hypnotic amnesia is highly beneficial in bringing about rapid changes to behavior. In the example of smoking, one might suggest, upon awakening, you will remember to forget by forgetting to remember the cigarettes of the past. That's a really nice one too. One of my favorite quotes is, there are some things worth forgetting. Right? I mean, think about all the things that we ruminate over and that we remember over and over again, and all the things that we've forgotten. I mean, have you ever looked at a picture and been like, oh yeah, that vacation was awesome. I totally forgot about it. I have no memory of it like even happening. And yet the things that we repeat over and over and over again. So the brain has an incredible ability to delete things, to distort things, to change things. And it does this automatically based on our beliefs, which are typically set up before the age of 8, right? Our structure of reality. And one of the things that we're doing here, ladies, and that we'll be able to continue to teach the people that are in our life and come after us, is that we actually have the ability to be intentional about what our brain is deleting and generalizing and distorting. That we actually have that power. We're not just a slave to, oh yeah, well, it's a trigger from the past. So I've had a good fortune of working with a variety of people who have achieved great success in business and their lives. In one such experience, I was working with a relatively successful millionaire in Scottsdale, Arizona, named Frank. Frank had a rather unique problem. He had made $1 million 3 times in his life, but he was never able to hold on to the money. That sounds so familiar. Like a lot of my ladies that have like lost a lot of weight before and then they keep getting it back. They're like, Frank, what is happening? While under hypnosis, Frank acknowledged the intense thrill that he feels at the prospect of making $1 million. Once the money is earned, however, the thrill is gone. So he promptly discovered the thrill of losing it. This particular millionaire had gone bankrupt 3 times and made a comeback each time. Frank heard about my unique process through a mutual friend and hoped that I could help him remove whatever other than conscious block was preventing him from maintaining his wealth. After a few minutes of discussion with Frank, I realized he was living out what is known as a sabotaging belief system. Frank was indeed building a compelling future, but it consisted only of making $1 million, very similar to my weight loss ladies. They're so concerned with losing the weight that the actually maintaining a healthy body is just not even on the radar, right? They're like, yeah, whatever, I'll deal with it when I get there. And it's all about the weight loss. So for this guy, it was all about making the money. Making the money was the goal that he had placed unconsciously in his mind. He would promptly go about making the $1 million and then just as promptly lose it so that he could amass $1 million. If Frank had been able to maintain that pace, he could have, in fact, been $3 million richer rather than once again building up his million. At the time Frank contacted me, he had a business plan in the works that he was on the verge of bringing him his next million. We began a process of upping the ante by building an awareness of his future, that it holds more than money and more than a series of life events. Frank could now lift the limits from his perception of the future, investing that million and making it 10 million or even 100 million could achieve the same thrill that he experienced from making the money. Now, Frank began to see his compelling future in a new light, one that would allow him to awaken each morning with excitement and readiness to go out and get what he wants from life. He realized that in the past, after making each million, he began to awaken each morning in a different way. He began to awaken with troubled thoughts about his money. He started making his investments with the fear of losing his money. He started making business decisions from a different foundation than the excitement that had brought about success. Frank was setting up his own failure. Now, through the post-hypnotic suggestions in the compelling future technique, Frank was able to set up other unconscious goals that could be met day by day. By creating post-hypnotic amnesia, Frank could remember to forget. By forgetting to remember all past failure. He began to organize his thoughts differently, which changed his attitude. He was no longer the millionaire he was going after, but it was a lifestyle, the ability to do all he wanted to do as he wanted to do it. This lifestyle compelled him each day to awaken with motivation and confidence. The compelling future will work for any type of life enhancement. Sports improvement is another especially notable example. One way in which an athlete will be held back from performing his or her very best is when a coach doesn't allow the opportunity for displaying talent and skill. Okay, so I think we're going to skip over the rest of that one. Okay, so we can accomplish this same motivation within ourselves and as hypnotherapists. Help others to experience it as well. We simply need to know the right buttons to push, the appropriate future to perceive, and the right words to say to ourselves or to others. Thoughts do indeed become actions, but it is a process. We must perceive a bright and compelling future before it can ever be achieved. It was actually Dr. Joe Dispenza was talking about this the other day. If you don't follow him, I highly recommend it. He's amazing. And he was saying, if you are not drawn to a compelling and bright future intentionally, you will be stuck with the memories of the past on repeat. And this is helping us right now, like this technique and what we're doing here is helping us go, okay, if that's true, then what's the process of creating that bright and compelling future? Now, as you go through the steps to the compelling future, follow the mechanics of seeing, hearing, and experience your future in the way that you want it to play out. Then watch out and hold on, because your dreams will soon become reality. There is an adage that goes something like this: life seems to go faster when you are living your dreams. Become aware of the dreams that you are dreaming so that you can live what you want to live when you awaken. To use the technique, simply follow the steps. These patterns are like templates for you to fill in with your own unique style and with the information that pertains to the individual client at hand. To be successful, each hypnotherapist must be willing to be flexible with these patterns. Okay, so Maria, will you let us know? Can you repeat that? I'm sorry, repeat what? Which part?
The statement by Dispenza.
Oh, yeah. So I don't remember like it exactly, but he's so good, man. This man is so good. He was saying that if you are not drawn to a future that you create, right, and we're calling it a bright and compelling future, if you are not drawn to your intentional future, you will be stuck with the repetition of the memories of the past, right? Because that your brain is freaking designed to do that. I know it just got really intense right there, but we're not bad, right? We're not wrong. We're not broken. We're not stupid. We're not crazy. It's literally just the way that the brain works. It is a servo mechanism. If you were not in, actually, my son was saying this the other day. He was like, dude, listen, he's like, it's like a Tesla that you can put on automatic drive, right? And you put on automatic drive and it goes wherever it's going. If you input something, it will go there. It is your responsibility, if you are the driver, to step into the driver's seat and direct the car where you want to go. And if you do not take on that responsibility, the car will go wherever it's, whoever's programming it, right? Whoever has set the destination. And if we let our husbands do that, we let our doctors do that, we let society do that, we let whoever, whatever, wherever, right, program, right, and set the destination of where we are to go, then we're stuck there. But again, what we don't realize, it's like, oh, wait, no, I can put in the destination that I want to. I can actually take on the steering wheel of my own life and go in the direction that I want to. And again, it's not that we're bad or broken. Our mind is designed to repeat the past so that we have, that's all the only data and information that it has. Right. So the way in which we change is by new information. It's by reading books. It's by having conversations with people. It's about doing new and different things. It's about accessing our own inner guidance and tapping into the collective consciousness. Now, those are ways that we are able to then expand our understanding and go in a direction that we want to. Cool. So compelling future. Which one of you ladies would like to take us through this little technique here?
I can do it.
Cool. What page are we on? Your page, because my page is 138, but I think you're different.
146.
I love this. Okay, so 146. So at the end, I don't know if it's in your book, but there's a little Andy Warhol quote, and it says, "They always say that time changes things, but you actually have to change them yourself." Awesome. All right, so I shall mute, and if you want to take us through, that's beautiful.
Okay. Okay, so according to this script, I need to see your fingers. Right. So your eyes should be comfortably closed. And take in 3 deep cleansing breaths. And each time, with each exhalation, watch yourself go deeper and deeper. Each time that you close your eyes with the intention of going into hypnosis, you will find that it gets easier and easier to relax. So with just the thought of relaxation and the intention of relaxation, you will be 10 times more relaxed than you are right now. And from here, you will notice that with each word that is uttered, each breath that you take, you will relax and go deeper. You will find it easy to use the right index finger for yes and the left index finger for no. Each time moving the finger slightly and finding yourself going deeper and deeper. And now that you know how to relax, imagine one of your goals. And once you have it in mind, give me a yes response. Good. Now, with this goal in mind, imagine that it is accomplished. You have done it. Imagine what you see, hear, and experience when stepping into that future goal. What is your breathing like when you have accomplished that goal? And become, for a moment in time, your future self. Take all the time you need, and when you have done that, give me a yes response. And from here, imagine moving backwards through time, from the future back to this moment in time. And notice in reverse each of the steps that help you accomplish the goal. And when you are aware of the first thing you will do upon awakening that will convince you, just give me a yes response. With the steps in mind, is there any reason you should not accomplish that goal? Any reason you should not accomplish that goal with a yes or no response? Should you get a signal that there is a reason not to accomplish this goal, ask the following question. Would the part that is responsible for that reason be willing to consider accomplishing that goal if its positive intent was met in a healthy and positive way? Just allow yourself to answer with a yes or no response. Excellent. At this level of the mind, there is 100% agreement and making the changes necessary so that you can accomplish your goals. Take in 3 deep, cleansing breaths. And each time you close your eyes with the intention of going into hypnosis, you will find yourself going deeper, deeper and deeper inside, making that powerful connection so that each time you think of the future, you will concentrate on your bright and compelling future. Before you return fully into the room, step once again into the future. Be there now. Seeing what you will be seeing, hearing what you will be hearing, experiencing everything as if it has already happened. Spend a moment in time there enjoying the benefits of your own mind. And from here, return slowly back into the room, only as slowly now as you can accept, use, and benefit from the power of your own mind, knowing that negative thoughts, concepts, and beliefs will have no control over you at any level of the mind, at this or any of the awakening levels of consciousness. When the changes are locked in place and you know you can and will accomplish your goals, you will be wide awake, feeling fine and in perfect health, and it is so.
Oh, thank you, Miss Jody. Ooh.
Very welcome.
Okay, so now that you just went through that, do you have questions, thoughts?
I don't think so. Mm-mm.
You can see how easily this is added into, typically the end of any session. So like whatever work that you do, right? We're going to get into quantum fusion. We're taking the you of the past, the you of the future, and putting it together. Then obviously you want to take that, right, new future and future pace it out into the days and the weeks and the months to come. So always it's a good idea, whatever you do, whatever the technique is, always reiterating, because it's going to change too, right? As we change. I mean, 5 years ago, my compelling future was not the same. I didn't have the same breadth of, I mean, I don't know if confidence is really the right word, but confidence is kind of part of it. Like what I thought was possible for me was like this much. And then as the years go by and now it's this much, and then it's this much, right? Like it keeps evolving and changing. And that's another one of the reasons why it's super helpful and powerful to always keep that in mind, to be updating our vision of ourselves and our vision of the future and enhancing it. Right. Yeah. Maria, how was that experience for you?
I was surprised. My future was a little bit different than I imagined it to be. I liked it though. Apparently I'm going to be really good looking, better looking than I am now. Skinnier waist.
I love that.
I'm going to be a badass and my hair is going to be thicker. And apparently I like to suntan, so I'm going to be a lot browner, people. Watch out.
Okay.
So my compelling future looked pretty bright and I was really surprised. And I wasn't saying no, I just went with whatever came to me. And yeah, apparently I'm going to be hella good looking.
I love
Maria,
it.
you are hella good looking.
That is also accurate.
Well, I'm going to be looking like a plastic Barbie doll coming soon.
Okay. If that's your idea of good looking, I like your style.
It was more bodybuilding.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I was like, is that me up there on stage taking the first award, the number one? And I was singing, I was writing books, I was talking to people, I was having a blast. And I said, I'm a badass grandma and I'm good looking.
Yes.
So I just said, yeah, I'm going with it. No resistance. I receive.
Yeah.
So it was good. Thank you.
You're very welcome. Thanks for sharing.
That's awesome. Okay. Any other takeaways or anything else that you guys want to talk about? Okay. I'm kind of sad I don't get to see your face, Miss Jody, but thank you for taking us through the technique. I appreciate that.
You're very welcome. Thanks
Yeah.
for creating the space for us all.
Yeah. Awesome. All right. So next week we're going to go back a chapter and we will do compelling. No, we just did compelling future. We'll do resource organizer. Awesome. This is a nice one, especially for people that tend to focus on all the things that are not right, or that they're not doing well, or that they need help with, and this is an opportunity for us and whoever that we're helping to really access the things that we have already been successful with, that we've already done well, right? Because our ability to change and transform and heal and do all kinds of amazing things is there. Just like we all have little areas that are like sticking points for us, and we don't realize that we can take those resources and place them in this area of our life and make it really easy for us to make whatever change we want to make or enhancement. Cool. All right, ladies, I love you so much. I'll see you next week.
Thank you, Rose.
Yeah.
Thank you.
As always, super fabulous.
Yeah. Good to be here. All right, ladies, have a great week.
You too.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.